Lowe's knows that free is just better. That's why MyLowe's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join MyLowe's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
What goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code iHeart for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code iHeart.
Wait, so you just been eating the peel and the banana this whole time?
Nobody told me the whole thing's the banana.
You mean you have taste buds, Tom?
You're my taste bud.
No, it's a thing on your tongue.
I thought I got that right.
Damn it, motherfuck.
Ta-da! So, what do you guys think?
You murdered Noah?
I like it. That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
No.
Right?
No, silly. We didn't murder Noah. Heath, we didn't murder Noah. We removed his...
wait, what did
we
we
didn't murder Noah. We removed his brain. The
Right. Sorry.
Yeah,
No, obviously.
The subject of this week's essay is Washington Irving Bishop. He's a magician who lied about having an amazing brain so often that one time when he fell asleep and had a fit, someone autopsied him while he was asleep.
So you
Autopsy Noah, right? Think about it. We've been trying to get people to pay attention to the podcast. We can charge people to look at Noah's brains, his lungs, his heart, and then when we wake him up, we'll have so much money. We'll be like, look how much money.
So much. I'm going to buy ice cream.
Heath is going to buy ice cream.
Yep. Guys, you aren't going to wake Noah up. He's dead.
Yeah, guys, autopsies kill you.
No.
Eli just said it. But
All
it's
the
not.
way they kill you. Rough lesson to learn. I know. But yeah.
What? Absolutely not.
No, they don't.
That's ridiculous. What are you talking about?
Tom, if autopsies killed you, how come they would give them to people all the time to check for cancer and stuff?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a biopsy.
Biopsy. Yes, it's the other slightly different word.
Easy mistake. But yeah, autopsies definitely for the dead people. Again, very dead. It's just
Well,
You guys want to check out his brain?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you got it out, right?
We die a lot.
We do.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Heath, and I'll be hosting this perfectly ordinary lie. Go ahead and inspect the lie. Check it out, everybody. No springs or levers, just a regular, normal lie. And joining me tonight are 4 random volunteers from the audience. We've never met before, gentlemen. Is that correct? It's magic stuff. I'm doing magic stuff. It's not clear to everybody. That was all magic themed. My jokes just now. First up, we have a man with resting lich face and a man with resting rich face. Eli and Tom. Is it? Eli and Tom, is it?
Nice try, Heath. Last time I fell for that, I ended up having sex with David Copperfield. So,
all right. Well, if you guys wanted to be rich too, you should have decided to be born that way, like all good white people.
And also joining us tonight are 2 men with active bitch face, Cecil and Noah.
Nothing I do could be considered active, Heath.
And to be fair, I was fine until Eli started bragging about getting to fuck David Copperfield. Imagine the reveal, right?
spoiler alert, it's come.
Eli's dick looks like the Statue of Liberty. It's true. It's true.
It disappears.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's green.
He calls it an innie. He says it's an
And
innie
rusty.
sometimes. So it kind of disappears. So tell us, Noah, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event are we going to be talking about today?
It's Eli. So we're going to be talking about a magician and a mentalist.
Great.
And a guy who apparently got autopsied to death, Washington Irving Bishop.
Wonderful. And Eli, you vaguely remembered a really long story that you heard from an old hacky magician while you're doing an open mic night. You're backstage hanging out. I don't know. You ready to make that part of our life's work today?
Like so many times before, it's too late to stop me, Heath.
Is it? What do you guys think?
Bail now. Get ice cream? We can get that ice cream.
Someone want to just riff some other story we could eat?
I could read the Etruscans one. I've got that up. I've always got that up in the background.
No.
So who were the Etruscans, Noah? All right, fine. So who was Washington Irving Bishop, Eli?
Thank you, Heath. Born Wellington Bishop on March 4th, 1855 to Eleanor and Nathaniel Bishop, little Wellington seemed destined for greatness, or at least fake greatness. While the bishops claimed wealth and high position, all evidence suggests that his mother was a failed actress and opera singer, while his father drank with money he didn't have. Heath gets it.
Okay.
I love this. This is like fake it till you make it. Or until you make other people who made it pay for it. Whatever. It's all
Right.
Yeah, so they were failed actors, but Fox News didn't exist yet. So Washington's parents turned to the Victorian equivalent, spiritualism.
I'm pretty sure the Victorian equivalent of Fox News was just standing at the wharf and throwing sun-dried shit at immigrants as they came off the boat.
Tomato, tomato. So his mother made her living as a medium. His father was her promoter and secret assistant. However, theirs was not a happy marriage. Eleanor attempted to divorce Nathaniel in 1867, claiming he had attempted to murder her. However, that didn't stop her from demanding he be exhumed when he died in 1874, claiming he'd been poisoned and buried with property that belonged to her. When nothing of value...
The poison? Was that the property?
I want it back. What if I get remarried? I got it.
Well, when nothing of value was discovered on the body, she skipped town and left the bill for the exhumation behind.
All they found was a note that said, "Suck it, prank war. I win."
Worst part about marrying your spouse when you're a spiritualist is that it doesn't stop the complaining. They're just like, scoop the cat box.
I'm trying to understand this property that belonged to her that she forgot in his pants pockets before the burial.
It's a receipt. I might want to return the poison.
Now, by all accounts, Bishop was a mediocre student, working at a drugstore until he joined a troupe of the stage medium Anna Eva Faye. Now, Faye is credited as one of the early adopters of the famous Spirit Cabinet Act, later made famous by Harry Houdini and other magicians. She would be tied behind her back, by her feet, and around her neck to a pole with tambourines and shit all around her feet.
All right, you had me pretty much there until you said tambourines. I can't think of a more boner-killing fake instrument than that.
Disagree.
So then in the act, a curtain
Tambourine Man.
would be raised around her so the audience couldn't see her. And even though she was tied to the pole, mysteriously the instruments would play themselves behind the curtain. And when the curtain was lowered, Faye was still tied to the pole.
When the curtain goes up on the woman, Mike Pence is there pressing down his crotch to suppress the hard-on. I think I found my kink, mother! I think I found my kink!
I'm sorry, wait. Is that not the lamest possible magic trick?
Yes, it is.
Right? She might as well have covered herself with a curtain and then insisted she was levitating back there. She just couldn't do it when you looked.
Feels like the curtain wouldn't be important if you were doing, any magic, really.
Well, it was the 1800s. So after working in her company for a few years, Bishop spent some time as Faye's manager. But in April of 1876, he promoted his debut as a solo performer by publishing a complete exposure of Faye's act in the local newspaper.
What?
He went on to duplicate and expose her act during his sold-out opening performance in Chickering Hall.
And it was just look, it's the curtain. We do a thing. The fuck did you guys think was happening? It's obviously the curtain.
Thank you so much for the opportunity and everything, but I think it's time I struck out on my own. But really, again, what an opportunity that you gave. I can't thank you enough. Really.
Well, I'm just glad to have been part of your success. It's been such a Why are you grinning like that?
No reason. Just thinking about
You're going to double-cross me, aren't you?
Oh, immediately. Yes. That's the plan. Always was.
Motherfucker, you lying little deceitful shit. I hope you get autopsied alive.
Fat chance of that happening.
That's real. Those are phonograph records. We just played that.
Wax cylinders.
Now, Bishop, to his credit, claimed that he exposed Fazak not for the publicity or the money from the theater, but because of the evils of fraudulent spiritualism.
So like all spiritualism is what you're saying.
Yeah.
The word spiritualism.
The fact that Bishop's mother was also a practicing medium at the time didn't seem to bother him as much. And I should point out that this tradition of exposing mediums and frauds in the name of skepticism is just so happens to be great publicity, would be carried forward by magicians for generations and still continues today. Houdini, James Randi, all sorts of people. You know.
Eli.
Me? Yeah, because, fuck those psychic frauds. Now, let me tell you how to lose 400 pounds eating nothing but potatoes.
Step 1, gain 400 pounds by eating potatoes. Step 2,
Be Irish?
yeah, that way. I mean, it was really just the one step, but yeah, be Irish, sure. Yeah.
Also, a little side note here. Bishop, at his great debut, also exposed the second sight routine of the popular magician Robert Heller, but this didn't play nearly as well or garner anywhere close to as much press because Heller didn't claim to be psychic and literally responded by writing a letter to the paper that said, "I know it's a trick. I'm a magician, you stub fucker."
It's like, that guy's a big faker. That woman isn't really cut in half.
Your real nose isn't round and red at all.
That guy didn't remove his thumb. His thumb was attached the whole time.
So, bad news for Bishop, YouTube didn't exist yet, so exposing other people's magic tricks wasn't a career. No, if Bishop wanted to be a star, he would have to find something original, something one of a kind. Or at least another person's act to steal. So he did that last one. He stole someone else's act.
Cool. So he learned to double lift cards and he bought a curtain. That's pretty much the history of magic right there.
Wow. How dare you be so honest?
That's pretty accurate.
Okay. Fine. Guess that's how we talk about each other now. Anyways, around 1877, Bishop befriended mentalist Jacob Randall Brown, whose signature effect was muscle reading.
All right, now we're getting to the fucking David Copperfield part. Finally.
All right. So, a little bit about muscle reading. Scientists attribute legitimate muscle reading to the ideomotor response. You have someone think of an object really hard while they hold your hand or your arm or whatever, and the tiny movements in their hand lead you to the correct thing.
Wow. I want to be called up on stage to do that. Be like, joke's on you, wizard. Learn some fucking fat reading. That's not going to work.
They're just elbow deep into your tummy. Are you sure there's muscle in there somewhere? Is there any core in there?
Okay, I'm telling you, just hold my dowsing rod and you'll find liquid. Look, it's already bobbing. I'm doing half the work.
You sound just like David. And I want to say that scientists admit that thing where they hold a hand and the ideomotor response is possible. Maybe.
Is it?
It's kind of. But more often than not, and we're sure about this, the performer has a secret assistant giving them hints or just
Well, right, yes, exactly. That's the key to deciphering any magic trick, folks. It's always way less difficult than you're giving it credit for.
Right.
Et tu, Noah. Et tu.
You got to pick up 2 cards. Both.
All right. I got a little side note about Brown, the guy he stole this act from. So aside from inventing muscle reading, he's most famous in magic for getting into a feud with another magician named Baldwin, who billed himself as the White Mahatma.
What?
Now Baldwin would do an act where he'd wear a super duper racist, quote unquote Indian outfit and read minds. And Brown saw that and he starts doing the act and calling himself White Mahatma.
Brown the White Mahatma?
And in retaliation, Baldwin starts calling himself the original and only real White Mahatma, to which Brown responds by calling himself the great, the only, the original White Mahatma.
Yeah, coincidentally, that's also a prominent bullet point on Elizabeth Warren's CV, too. The original White Mahatma.
Either way, while that little fight is going on about who's the real Slim Mahatma, Bishop heads to England, where he attributes his muscle-reading powers to his extraordinary brain. And that claim is the basis for his act, his career, and for the rest of his life.
I love that the basis for Eli's act in real life is just like, yeah, it's a fucking double lift and a curtain. Okay? And it kills. He kills every time.
So mean.
Oh, yeah, no, it's killing. He's performing it all over the, what would be the right word at the end of that sentence, Eli? Room? Wow.
Hey, man.
Truth. At least I didn't forget a major skeptic's name in front of the largest skeptics conference in the world.
While they were on stage
While they
with
were
him.
standing next to me and were nice enough to introduce themselves. That's the good news. Anyways, upon arriving in England, Bishop didn't do that. He generated a ton of press by offering to do several shows for charity. All he would take, he said, was reimbursement for his expenses. At his premier charity event to benefit the Victoria Children's Hospital in Chelsea, the theater sold out and £300 in ticket sales were collected. After expenses, Bishop gave the hospital just under £19.
Wow. But in fairness, the Trump Foundation still owes that children's hospital a bill. So, take the win.
Okay, and this one?
Legitimate expense. Like you need a tiger skin sete or the power of the Orient.
Okay, stop. Just okay, but what about this one? Really?
What? You expect me to read tiny muscle movements all day without a stagecoach full of Mexican hookers covered in body paint and diamond dust? What am I supposed to practice this shit on myself? That's
okay, fine. But even if I buy that, you can't be serious about this one.
well, every magician has one of those. All of us.
Every magician has a, quote, ruby-studded cock cage adorned with peacock feathers.
Okay, a magic wand. That's a personal thing, and you have to customize it.
Okay, final question. Are you hiring?
No, we're obviously trying to keep our overhead down.
I've been in so many of those meetings. I didn't write this essay to be attacked. I'll just say that right now. So after that, Bishop tries another popular marketing technique of the day. He offers to fool the scientists. Now, this publicity stunt has gone out of fashion since scientists are now smarter than normal people. But this was the 1800s, so it worked like a charm. He did it. He nails it. However, this I fooled the scientists claim gets Bishop into a little bit of trouble. See, a skeptical reporter who was like 1900s level smart attends the performance, but he still doesn't buy it. And he calls in J.N. Masculine.
All right, this guy's name is just masculine, but the way Eli spells it, I'm so happy he's here.
You don't even know how happy you are that he's here because Masculine honestly deserves his own episode, and he'll probably get one because we keep rotating me in by accident. But essentially, J.N. Masculine is the no illusions of magic. He hates everyone and everything so goddamn much.
Does he chain smoke 3 packs of Etruscans a day too?
Okay, all right, but be honest, Tom. Do you really want to see me without the nicotine? Is that what you want?
No.
J.N. Masculine, that's what it is. So Masculine has great reason to hate everyone and everything in his life. He gets started as a performer in the age of the great showman, when magicians would redistribute their wealth by giving away like 100 free turkeys at their performance, or they would make oranges grow on a tree on stage only to hand them out to children in the audience, knowing that would probably be the only orange that kid ever got to eat.
Nah, Scurvy Bill's character.
And then, just at the peak of his fame, assholes like Bishop come along. And Bishop is like, I can use science to read your muscles. And Masculine fucking hates them. He hates them. How much does he hate them, you ask? Well, let me put it this way. The world's longest running and most popular magic magazine, Genie,
Low bar.
thank you, has an entire monthly section dedicated to magical correspondence called Letters of Note. And literally half of that section is just Masculine writing letters to someone like Bishop, telling them to fuck themselves. So this skeptical reporter approaches Masculine and he's like, how does he do this shit? To which Masculine replies on the record for the paper, I don't fucking know how he does it. It's probably a magic trick, but it's definitely not psychic powers or muscle reading, because those are fucking bullshit. So Bishop reads this, and he replies on the record by writing this huge article about what a villain Masculine is, and he's a cheat, and he's a liar, and all these horrible accusations. And in response, Masculine, who's an adult, sues him for libel, wins 10,000 pounds in damages, and Bishop flees the country.
Masculine walks over to the defense table. Hey, hold my hand for a second. Dick punch. Oh, what happened? You didn't see that coming? You didn't read a muscle.
So Bishop is back in America. He decides it's time to retire. Not because he just got bitch slapped or anything. He wanted to retire. Really, totally loves retirement. Unfortunately, his biggest fan in the world is about to make that really hard.
Oh, I know this. She broke his ankles and then dictated his book to him.
Close. So there's this guy named Charles Howard Montague, and he loves Bishop, and he totally thinks he's real. He's so convinced that Bishop is real that he tries to do Bishop's act himself and build his own skills. And it works because everyone will eventually fucking play along if you hold their wrist long enough. So Bishop hears that someone has stolen his act that he stole fair and square, and comes out of retirement only to find that his superfan is performing at all of his old gigs in America. Not just that, but to celebrate his hero's return to showbiz, Montague throws a big charity benefit and actually gives the money to charity.
Fucking amateur.
Yeah. So at the same time, some of Bishop's more, shall we say, nefarious dealings come to light in the papers. A family friend publishes a letter about what a literal whore his mom was. Faye, his old act who he managed and then crossed, tells everyone that he's married to 2 women, which he is. So he divorces his first wife and then marries his mistress, but then changes his mind and divorces his mistress and remarries his first wife again.
He walks into the town hall for that last remarriage. What is your return policy? I do have mercy.
Now, I mention this because during his divorce, his second wife reveals the secret to his frantic and energetic performance style. Lots, and I can't emphasize this enough, and lots of cocaine. That will be important later.
Hold on, wait. Is that cheating? Are we not?
Robin Williams was doping. Doesn't count.
So from there, Bishop's career goes sharply downhill. He tries a publicity stunt where he promises to warm the streetcars of Chicago with his psychic powers, but can't do that, so he offers to help at a murder trial.
I mean, he was already in Chicago, so he might as well.
When in Rome.
Yeah, but none of that works, and gossip about his extensive drinking and drug addiction get way more press than he does. So it's 1889. Back in New York, Bishop finally catches a break. He's invited to perform at the prestigious Lambs Club, but that performance, crack, boom, lightning noises, will be his last.
All right, great. So we heard about Fun Universe Eli, who's doing a bunch of coke, and he's about to die.
This universe, Eli.
And his friend Moishi stole his act and is making way more money now. So before we get to the part about Bishop's amazing new podcast career, let's take a quick break for some apropos of nothing. Extra, read all about it. Great psychic Washington Irving Bishop to confront Neville Masculine once and for all.
So, Mr. Masculine, we meet at last.
Fuck your face.
Sorry, what?
Nothing. What do you want?
Okay, sorry, you threw me off. I've come here to prove once and for all that
You can eat your own dick?
Come on, man, what are you doing?
Wait, what? Just do your fucking thing.
So that I want to prove that the mood is weird. That my powers are genuine.
Oh, good. Can't wait.
Now, good Sir Masculine, if you will draw a card from this ordinary pack.
A card trick? Great. Yeah, no, this is a great way to show that you have real powers.
Will you just take a card, please?
No, got it. Okay, here it is.
All right, now if you will place your card into the pack.
Can I shuffle? Shuffle it in?
No, you cannot. If you'll just...
Why can't I shuffle? You're psychic, right? I'll tell you what. Just tell me what card I have right now.
That's not how it works.
That's not how your psychic powers work?
No.
Here, it's the 3 of spades.
The 3 of... Oh, come on, man.
Get the fuck out of my dressing room.
3 of spades.
And we're back. When we left off, Bishop was selling thumb lights at a toy store and letting Montague pay the check at dinner when Bishop's
Christ.
card keeps getting declined. So, Eli, what's next?
Jesus.
All right. Okay.
God.
Fair. Again, fair. So, it's 1889, and as I said, things are not going well for Bishop, but he still puts on a hell of a show at the Lambs Club. He opened with his signature effect, a murder most foul.
Oh, please tell me that's the trick where you rip the duck's head off.
No, but that's better name. Better name. So Bishop would leave the room, and several people inside would act out a murder.
What?
When he returned, Bishop would go into a trance, and in that trance, he could identify who had been the victim, who had been the murderer, and even the weapon that they had used.
Wait a minute, did we just describe a murder mystery dinner and his big trick is to ruin the mystery part of
Right?
That's the... Bravo.
Yeah.
So then, while still in a trance and sweating like Tim Ryan on television, he would ask the secretary of the club to choose a name from one of the many volumes of the club register while he was blindfolded. Not only did Bishop locate the register, he was able to write the name that was chosen backwards while blindfolded.
Great. So, he played a game of Clue with Colonel Mustard as a plant. But who the fuck cares about the blindfolded and backwards writing part? Why
Thank
would
you.
that matter? Like, some guy saw the act and he was like, boo! He could see the paper and he's going left to right. Fraud. Why?
So,
Might as well have done it on one leg.
so at this point, Bishop has worked himself into such a furor that he fell to the ground,
While
unconscious.
drinking a glass of water. You're not talking. It's not ventriloquism. That's nothing.
Yeah, so he falls to the ground, unconscious, unmoving, and unbreathing.
That's
Now,
not good
That's
for you.
death.
That's not good.
Words for dead.
That last part's the problem part.
Yeah. So, luckily for him, his friend, Dr. John Irwin, was there, who absolutely did not help him out with any of those magic tricks. He shut up. And he explained to the crowd that Bishop's powers overexerted his mind and he was cataleptic.
Yeah, the guy's like, don't worry, everyone. It's a perfectly natural asphyxiation. He's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Like David
So,
Carradine.
side note, catalepsy is, quote, a nervous condition characterized by muscular rigidity and fixity of posture regardless of external stimuli, as well as decreased sensitivity to pain, end quote. It can be caused by Parkinson's disease, epilepsy, or cocaine withdrawal. And in
There it
Bishop's
is.
case, it was pretty obviously the cocaine withdrawal. That was what it was.
Okay, but like knowing this, like at this point, wouldn't you just not run out of cocaine? I mean, isn't that the solution? I don't even remember the problem. Isn't that the solution?
Also, just the public service announcement for the kiddos listening at home. Cocaine withdrawal is nowhere near as awesome as Eli just made it sound. I mean, seriously, you made it sound like it'll turn you into like an invincible stoic ninja. It does not do that.
You won't know until you try it at home, will you, kids? All right, so Dr. Irving assures everyone there that Bishop does this thing all the time, and contemporary reports actually confirm this. For the final few years of his life, Bishop would build up to the big finale of his act and then die on stage. In fact, this was such a common occurrence for him that Bishop carried a note on his person at all times, which he called his lifeguard, explaining his cataleptic condition and prohibiting autopsy or the application of ice or electrodes to his body.
Okay, but that's a weirdly small list, isn't it?
right.
It just says, I'm not dead. Here's a couple ways I don't want to get murdered, just for the record.
It'd be better if the note just said, please don't do anything a shitty sadistic kid does with a toad. Please don't do any of that with me. Yeah.
So the audience's consciences, they're assuaged. The members of the lab club, they all bring Bishop upstairs where he, I kid you not, wakes up briefly insists on doing another magic trick, and then dies again.
I can still do the diatribe. I'm fine. Get off me. Stop.
No. I'm already the cool masculine British guy in this story. This guy has to be Cecil. He can still do the edit.
So at 4 a.m. that night, Dr. Charles C. Lee, who had previously taken care of Bishop when he died, attempted to revive him, but he failed. So he promises to come back in the morning, and he sets 2 doctors to watch over him. Now, Bishop's advanced man, who was new, checked on him later in the night, but Bishop was still unconscious. And the advanced man thinks he's dead. So he heads to Philadelphia to tell Bishop's family the bad news.
It's like, does anyone have a mirror? No? Well, I mean, he seems dead. Good enough for me. Fuck it.
Yeah, right.
Job well done.
But it was nice of him to let the family get a head start on the morning.
It's like leaving in the 7th inning.
Yeah. So sure enough, next morning he's still dead. So Bishop's wife goes to the funeral home to view her husband's body. And she's watching the funeral director, comb his hair, when all of a sudden the director drops the comb he was using. And then the comb disappears. So turns out the comb accidentally fell into Bishop's empty skull.
Oh, I thought he did a good magic trick instead. He's like, the comb has disappeared. Where is he? Is this your comb?
Okay, this might seem a little tasteless, but watch the technique, right? I got it.
And his wife realizes with horror that his brain had been removed the previous night by the 2 curious doctors who were supposed to watch him in an unauthorized autopsy that very likely took place while Bishop was still alive.
What? Wait, so they cut a piggy bank slot in his skull and removed his brain through that and kept combing his hair to keep the illusion of that not happening? And then the comb fell in perfectly like fucking Plinko? What the fuck is happening? Get a bigger comb.
Oh, Jesus.
So, as for Bishop's life preserver note, it was never found.
It just read, "We replaced Bishop's brains with Folgers crystals. Do you think his widow will notice?"
You son of a bitch.
This story makes no sense at all. There is a hole this size of a comb in his head and nobody noticed it until somebody starts messing with his hair. Wait, I mean, the hole was there before we started the grooming. No?
Right.
So when she realizes what happens, Bishop's wife cried, quote, "They have killed my husband. They've killed him. He was murdered by those doctors to get at his brain," end quote.
Okay, but look, if you don't wake up when people start sawing your head open, it's kind of on you. Right? I don't normally condone victim blaming, but come on.
So if you think Bishop's wife was upset, she had nothing on his mother. She demanded and received a coroner's inquest and tried to get the undertaker to chisel her son's gravestone with the words, "Born May 4th, 1856, murdered May 13th, 1889.
Admittedly, that's like every third headstone in East St. Louis, though. So
I love that the Chicagoan had to go all the way to East St. Louis to find the right city for that joke.
So
it's gonna feel shitty if you're in East St. Louis.
So the 2 curious doctors were arrested and released on $2,000 bail, and a second autopsy was performed. Bishop's brain had not been stolen, but was in fact in his chest cavity. For the record, it was also totally normal and not extraordinary.
Just
except being in his chest
totally
cavity.
normal dead piggy bank with a Krang situation. Nothing to see here. Yeah, comb his hair.
It's like 2 fucking kids. Oh shit, his wife's coming. Put it back. It won't fit. It's try to repack the goddamn tent. Just fucking put it anywhere. Just hope she doesn't have a comb, Bill, or we are fucked.
So, is that a brain in your mouth? Spit it out.
So, at the trial, a cavalcade of witnesses and experts testified that Bishop had collapsed and survived before his performance at the Lambs Club. All in all, Bishop had been declared dead 4 times by 4 different doctors before his Lambs Club performance, but the 2 autopsy-happy doctors were still acquitted.
Well, yeah, because obviously, okay, look, I get that they don't have all the fancy beepy shit back then, but they had breathing, didn't they?
So Bishop's mother was outraged, and so, like all great mothers, she went on a book tour. Her book was called, quote, A Mother's Life Dedicated, and An Appeal for Justice to All Brothers, Masons, and the Generous Public, a synopsis
long.
of the butchery of the
that's the
late
one.
Sir Washington Irving Bishop, Camilli Mili Milaninali.
What?
A most worthy Mason of the 32nd degree,
going in
the
the title.
mind
Still
reader
going.
and philanthropist by Eleanor Fletcher Bishop, his broken-hearted mother, and the title. She also claimed that her house had been robbed of $30,000 cash while she was attending her son's funeral.
Sorry, not done with my title yet. By Eleanor Bishop, his broken-hearted mother. If you're still reading this, you stole 30 grand from my house. Write this on his gravestone in the margin. Are you writing this down?
After you read the title to her book, you just open up the cover and it says "The End."
It's like the Daily Mail's first edition.
No shit.
So in 1907, Eleanor marries Count Lucas Langdon Nicholas, grandson of Tsar Nicholas. They lived together in Montpelier, Vermont, until Lucas literally ran away with the maid. Now, Eleanor claimed her ex-husband later sent thugs to ransack the house, though it's much more likely that she just sold/broke all of his stuff.
Okay, I'm sorry. Was she still selling her psychic services at this point? Because that seems hard now.
Yeah, well, she was. So, broken and embarrassed, Eleanor once again took to the papers, claiming, among other things, to be the cousin of the late Prime Minister of England, William Gladstone, to be friends with President Abraham Lincoln, that President William McKinley and Theodore Roosevelt had agreed to help her regain her fortune, that she was the adopted half-sister of Carlos Butterfield because she had saved him from suicide, and that she was the recipient of a $24 million lawsuit against the government of Mexico.
And that is when Mexico started their long tradition of getting out of paying for stuff. Right then.
Now, eventually, the magician Harry Houdini, who's famous at this point, takes pity on her, and he gives her some money, which she insisted to friends was a loan. In return, she gifted him most of her dead son's belongings, and when she died, named Harry Houdini the sole beneficiary of her non-existent $30 million estate.
What?
She's just sitting down to write that out. She's like, I, Eleanor, being of sound mind. I know I'm going to want to change that one.
Now, as for Bishop, his legacy lives on. Aside from causing a brief but intense panic about premature burial and autopsy in Victorian society, his act, the tricks he did, and the excuses he made for it continue to live on in magic today.
Okay, and if you had to summarize what you've learned, would we say learned? I don't know. Summarize it in one sentence. Go.
Bishop did fine that night, but the doctors killed.
Oh. Knocked him down. Yep.
All right, are you ready for the quiz from the panel?
I've got the brain for it.
All right, Eli, going first here. They obviously sold this guy's brain. Where did they do it? A, cerebrumage sale. B, the coroner store. C, blue light special at Kmart. Or D, autopsy bay.
Gotta go with autopsy bay.
Sure.
All right, Eli. This would never happen now because we know how to treat people who are unconscious. A, I'm not making a Bill Cosby joke. B, that would be in poor taste. C, roofies have no taste. And D, we're all going to hell.
Jesus Christ.
Secret answer E, Tom. You wrote that question all by yourself.
Don't blame the rest of us.
Don't bring us with you.
All right, I got a tough one for you, Eli. Obviously, getting autopsied while you're still alive is a pretty gruesome side effect of cocaine, but it's not the worst one. What is? A, Bruce Dickinson's solo career. B, thank you. I'm glad somebody knew who the fuck I was talking about.
Bruce Dickinson.
B, 24-hour gyms. C, the 80s. Or D, the fact that babies and dogs just seem to know you're fucked up and they're all judgy about it.
Again, I gotta go with secret answer E. Noah, nobody is ever gonna take your side for punching that baby. You just gotta move forward.
He was judgy as fuck. No, that's wrong. I never punched a baby. Actually, it is wrong because the demands it's the 80s. It was the 80s.
You were at a Coke party with babies? I just want to be clear about the situation.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein was there.
I only do the cocaine socially, Heath. That's good. Yes. Wink,
And what do you think he is, an addict? Jeez.
Healthier. No wins.
It's fun when you're hanging out
but
with
a
a baby.
moment too late.
Doing coke.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to make Heath be the essayist because of all that stuff.
All right. Well, for Tom, Noah, Cecil, and Eli, I'm Heath. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, I will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear Tom and Cecil on cognitive dissonance, and you can hear Eli, Noah, and myself on god-awful movies, The Scathing Atheist, and The Skeptocrat. And if you don't think money can buy happiness, you're incorrect. But either way, you should make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod. I've got a happiness guy, so it's fine. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, listen to past episodes, Noah's happiness guy is even better. Connect with us on social media or take a look at the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com.
All right, masculine, just write it on this piece of paper,
No, just tell me what shape I'm thinking of.
please.
No.